Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
The acceptable monster.
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
Right now, Diddy's making headlines for the viral 2016 leaked clip that shows him violently beating his ex, Cassie. Reportedly, his close friend and former associate, JayZ, who is also accused of being part of Diddy's inner circle, is cozying up to his defense.
The book is great, by the way.
Thank you very much.
In the book, you also say this. You say we need to have some difficult conversations about hip-hop and how it can be both a positive cultural force and self-destructive. Now, can you explain what you mean by that? And what do you, well, let's start there.
Well, I just think about the influence of hip-hop and, the influence that hip-hop has on culture, the way that we, talk, the way that we walk, the way that we dress, and, just growing up, all the influence that hip-hop had on me. And, I just think that, you have to use that tool of hip-hop, that resource of hip-hop to really, empower people. Like when I look at guys like, Kendrick Lamar with his last album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, or JayZ, the 444 album, I think in the future we're gonna look at those albums and say those are two of the most important hip hop albums of all time because of the topics that they're discussing on there. Like they're talking about, going to therapy. They're talking about, the infidelity that they did and how they're trying to be better men towards their women, and just, the whole journey of healing. Like that's what we should be talking about. Like if you look at the last 50 years of hip-hop, it was almost like we were little boys, and now we're growing into manhood. And in order to continue to have a career, like you do have to grow up.
Yeah. You do.
And I'm not sure if you...
This turn of events in the hip-hop community caught everybody by surprise, everybody except for Jaguar Wright. For those of you that don't know, the 47-year-old was a mainstay in music back in the day. She even collaborated with, you guessed it, D'Angelo and others. But since her last EP in 2019, Jaguar has taken a step back from the music industry, claiming it's because of the ongoing drama and alleged abuse that goes on behind the scenes. But everybody knows about it still.
He said, the objective of Bad Boy is to kill talent. We don't want talented motherfuckers at Bad Boy. Talented motherfuckers think they gotta say. Oh, a talented motherfucker will tell you, I'm gonna turn in my album when I feel like it. He said, but see, if we get people with no talent, and then we make them look like stars, see, we have total control. Because without us, they can't be the shit. He said, that's how we're gonna run this label, and we're gonna run these motherfuckers into the ground, and I'm gonna make all of you rich. And that was his fucking pep talk at the Kit Kat Club in 1996 to his interns, who are now mostly, executives at Bad Boy.
So that explains making the band, bringing unknowns.
Now, Jaguar is on a mission to let the whole world know the unfortunate truth about the hip-hop industry. She's claiming that the industry is full of offenders, but only some get caught, and even fewer actually get prosecuted for their crimes. Diddy's been lucky up until 2023 because, according to Jaguar, he's the worst of them all.
Have you ever been to a P. Diddy party?
Yeah, several, many, honestly.
And so, can you take us through, like, what goes on, like, when you were there?
What did I say when y'all asked me about why was the TD Jakes at the Diddy party?
Yeah.
What'd I say? Money
Right.
and sex.
That's correct. Were you surprised that there were so many cameras in his houses?
No.
That he was recording these?
Of course. He is the J. Edgar Hoover of hip hop.
Okay.
Y'all done seen him put on the pyramid with a skirt?
So let me ask you, when you hear that Cassie was told to hire male escorts to come and what they call freak-offs now.
Yeah.
Is that something normal that happens in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Freak-offs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody know that. I've been saying it.
Yeah.
So, in case you're waking up from a deep freeze or, I don't know, a Mars colony mission or something, Sean Diddy Combs has been accused of violent crimes against several men and women. There have been rumors about his alleged freak covens where he'd supply drugs and alcohol to minors. Then, once everybody was doped up or drunk, either Diddy or somebody from his elite circle would swoop in and abuse them.
I apologize to anyone this video may be embarrassing to. Let's just jump right into it. Some of you may know me or may not. I'm a music producer who's a writer and musician. Different genres. I started in the gospel and jazz and R&B and worked my way over to the hip hop side. I've been working on an album. I took a year off straight working on this album. That album is the Love album, Off the Grid by Diddy. And it's Grammy nominated right now as we speak. I should be celebrating, but the truth is I'm not. Taking this album on has required so much time, months and at a time, 16 hours to 24 hours a day. Sometimes, Diddy will request certain works to be done and tell us don't go to sleep until it's done. And the truth is we'll be up for days trying to accomplish that. I've tried to get my business straight with them on this album, but the truth is they're not playing fair. They hit me on below the belt on so many situations, just dealing with this. It's the contract that they give me and the offer that they gave me was just disgusting. The producer fee, pennies, and on top of that, these guys are trying to steal my publishing. I can't go for that, so I'm fighting back. He's a fighter, but I'm going to put in this fight. I got to do it for myself, my rights.
Lil Rod, Diddy's former associate and a music producer who worked with him on Love, was the one who named names. The music producer lived with Diddy for a year and got to experience the inner workings of the industry firsthand, and it changed his life for the worse.
This might have been 10, 12 years ago that I called him and say, I have a family member who I want you to hire them as an intern. And he said, yes. And they were flying around, one of the interns, Atlanta, Miami, whatever, on the jet, in the house, whatever. And then the internship stopped abruptly, like 3 or 4 months into it.
Yeah.
And I spoke to my family member, like, well, what happened? And they wouldn't say. And years later, they finally came out, and this a male, and said that Puff had said, come home, stay the night with me, or the internship is over. And they said, absolutely not. And the internship ended.
I think
not only did Diddy refuse to pay him in the end, but Lil Rod also claimed that it was because he was the one who told Diddy that he wanted out. Basically, the music mogul wasn't used to people saying no, so he retaliated by attempting to jeopardize Lil Rod's career.
And the girls, and I wish they would tell him the truth. Listen to me. All you gotta do is let these 8 fuck the dog shit out of you tonight. I'll get all that for you tomorrow. Because that's what's gonna happen. Like, why can't you be up front? You know?
I didn't believe this until I watched a Nickelodeon documentary where the kids were, basically, I don't want to say groomed, but they were technically assaulted based on saying, hey, here's the contract. They don't tell us up front, but they say, oh yeah, this guy is gay, but he's touchy-feely. They warn you. And on one of the episodes where a father said,
I just want to let you know, before you do this scene, this man is a predator. Okay? If you see something, say something, okay? But nobody wants to hear it. Like the
to put someone's career on the line, to say, hey,
that's what they
if
do.
you don't do this, you're not going to go higher than this.
That's what they do. You know how many times I've heard it?
That's what I was gonna ask. You're in the industry.
Yeah.
Did they ever say, if come in this room, Jack?
Yeah, I
let's,
was
let's
told.
get down.
Yeah, I was told.
And you will see some doors open.
I was drugged by a.
That's just something that Jaguar claimed Diddy's done in the past to other industry workers too. Now, she's claiming that Diddy's whole MO was centered around the fact that he was a music powerhouse, so the only way to the top was through him.
Curious, what did you know that was going on in the world of Diddy, Puff Daddy, P Diddy, that the world didn't know? What did you know back then, 3-4 years ago?
Was gonna come forward.
So how'd you know? What'd you know about what Cat? Because
I wish I could explain.
Yeah,
but if I explain how I knew Cassie was gonna come forward, that could hurt some people. Which is why the last time I sat on this blue couch, I said what I said. Congratulations, young Miami. Run as fast as Cassie did.
This meant that if anybody told him they weren't all in, including illegal activities, then he'd threaten their careers. Yeah, man, Diddy worked on threats and blackmail, according to Jaguar Wright.
Waited 15 years to talk about it. What are your thoughts to that? To where they didn't talk about it then, but now when lawsuits come up,
why would they talk about it then?
A lawsuit is a lawsuit. I mean,
but why would they talk about it? That's a good question. Why would they talk about it? Who is there to go to? Who's gonna fucking help them? What HR department do you know of that works for any of these labels?
Yeah.
When have you ever heard of a sexual harassment suit being publicly acknowledged in the entertainment industry at all? Never. Sports. Not in entertainment.
Tupac. I remember that one. That was.
He was the only one.
Yeah.
You saw how that turned out.
Yeah. That was
Yeah. No, guilty.
That's why they do it. To make you an example. To remind you what they're willing to do to keep things the way they want them. It's intimidation. I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him. And so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a JayZ victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it.
Now, what about JayZ? Well, if you ask the singer and songwriter, he ain't no better either, he's just better at hiding it.
Beating Rihanna, you know what I'm saying?
I don't understand why people keep talking about that. It was forever ago. They were both very young, and he had just had his first herpes outbreak from her giving him the herpes.
Ooh, my.
Like, how the you know what I mean? Like people don't understand what happened that night. And that's because JayZ worked so fucking hard to change the narrative of that night. Now, Rihanna was only 14, 15 when he started her and signed to the death jail. It's clear to say that the herpes that she had came from the person she had been most sexually involved with, and that was Sean Carter. JayZ gave her the herpes that she gave to Chris Brown. Busted into Clive Davis's house and said, "Where the is this dirty at?" I can't fault him for that.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I've been holding a lot of shit in lately. Oh, man, I just had Had like a 3.5 hour cry. Hold up, you know what I'm saying? Let that thing out. God will be right there, let you know. Come on, let's get up, let's go. But I had me a 3.5.
Netflix wins the bidding war with Diddy for Diddy's docuseries about 50 Cent about Diddy's sexual allegations.
Is that the one, Diddy Do It? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. It doesn't say what it's called. The sources told TMZ that 50 Cent planned to do one. 50 Cent G-Unit film and studio, television studios is producing a multi-part. But in the end, Netflix won. And there aren't any details about the docuseries specifically. 50 confirmed the news with a post on Instagram. Of course, he is joking TMZ because, oh no, what you mean? Oh, it was definitely on there.
I know, but it just looked like it. It looked like a Tubi documentary.
Yeah, I was shocked that TMZ made it so Tubi.
Yeah.
Like, they did it like that. I'm like, 50 Cent said, it's okay, guys. We're all making good television. Mine just happened to be the best. Netflix. So he is so.
And I remember 50 kept saying the name of it was going to be called Diddy Do It. But now, so clearly,
yeah,
he did it.
Clearly, he did do it.
Or that part of it.
And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff because I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie, right? And so he imaged himself after a gay painter. Your big homie want to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Oh my God, I think I know where we're going with
So
this.
now look, what I'm saying to you is, look, when you start looking at, that's not mine, that's theirs, their Harper, right? But when you look at, M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
To talk about it. What are your thoughts to that, to where they didn't talk about it then, but now when lawsuits come up.
Why would they talk about it then?
A lawsuit is a lawsuit. I mean.
But why would they talk about it? That's a good question. Why would they talk about it? Who is there to go to? Who's gonna fucking help them? What HR department do you know of that works for any of these labels?
Yeah.
When have you ever heard of a sexual harassment suit being publicly acknowledged in the entertainment industry at all? Never. Sports. Not in entertainment.
Tupac. I remember that one. That was.
He was the only one.
Yeah.
He saw how that turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, guilty.
That's why they do it. To make you an example. To remind you what they're willing to do to keep things the way they want them. It's intimidation. I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him. And so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think of the power of that moment.
If that was your daughter, would you let God handle it? All those people, they ain't denounced him. They ain't definitely, they can't come forward and say, yo, I support him. Because it would mess up their brand. It would mess up their brand. JayZ. We the only one could call each other Sean. Jay is the only one could call me Sean. I'm the only one could call him Sean. Get the hell out of here. If that ain't no fun boy stuff, But you ain't had not one person, brother, not one person sit there, denounce what he did, or come forward and say, I support him.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Nobody haven't came out to support him, man.